Hello again, Tom Zarinskas here for Lesson 1 for Learning Truespel Phonetics of American English using 23 common first names. I'm Tom Zarinskas and we will go over these names below. This lesson is intended for kids. Kids can learn Truespel as well as English learners. There are 40 sounds that you have to learn of American English. There are 17 vowel sounds and 23 consonant sounds. The vowel sounds are the long sounds and the consonant sounds are the short and poppy and quick sounds. And usually there's a vowel between the consonants. So with Truespel, you will see that there is a tilde, that little squiggle line, and that shows the phonograms. This is a phonogram, CH, D. These are all the phonograms that spell a phoneme. Each phoneme has its own phonogram. And I will be showing a list of words in tradspel. I call it tradspel because it's traditional spelling that you will see on a page of text. And you can say it in Truespel and you can pronounce it. Almost a lot of these are spelled the same way in Truespel as in tradspel, because Truespel tries to use the commonest forms of the spelling of sounds for the phonemes, the phonograms. Okay, here we go with Chad. Chad shows a short phoneme, and here's the long form, Jane. A short A and a long A for the vowel sounds. Now I'm going to go over the 17 vowel sounds in American English. And this is a complete tutorial. We're going over all the sounds and all the symbols of Truespel. So, Chad, it has 3 sounds, the ch, the d, and the a sound. And these are spelling the sounds themselves. And so Truespel spells Chad same way tradspel does. And so we have 3 sounds, and we're counting the sounds down here, and it'll eventually add up to 40 sounds. Let's get back. Jane. Now Jane has the A sound, the J, N, Jane. 3 sounds, J and N for consonants, and A. Now, Jane is a very interesting word. We got 3 new sounds. We're up to 6. You see the way it is spelled in tradspel with a silent E. You've got the A, and what that silent E indicates is that the A has a different sound than Chad. That's the short version. This is the long version of the letter A. It takes the A sound. And we have Fred and Steve. Fred and Steve spelled in tradspel. Again, this is a short E and this is a long E, as evidenced by the silent letter E on the end. Just like Jane had a silent letter E on the end that you don't say, so does Steve has a silent letter E on the end, but it shows that the E is long. It's not Stev, it's Steve. Like Fred, Fred is the short E. So we've got, for Fred, we got 4 sounds. The F, the R, these are the consonants, and the D. And we have the short E. So that is 1 vowel sound, and actually that's 1 syllable. Every vowel sound is a syllable. So we're up to 9 with Fred, and with Steve we have the S, the T, and the V. Those are 3 consonant sounds. spelled very typically with an S, a T, and a V. No big deal there with the consonants, but you see the vowels are tricky, and that is how you spell a long E sound, the double E, because when you spell in Truespel, you move the silent E over to the letter it makes long. So we have Jane and we have Steve. The E is moved over from the end until next to the vowel. That's a very clever idea. We have Trish, T-R-I-S-H, and Mike. Mike has the long vowel because it had a short silent E moved over. The silent E indicates a long vowel, Mike. And if you know your name is Mike, you can see that's the way it's spelled in traditional spelling. But you say it without saying that E on the end. You say Mike. And so you say three sounds, the M, the K, and the long I. That's how you spell a long I. You move the silent E over. Trish is a TR and an SH. Now the SH sound is very typically spelled sh, and sh is spelled typically in SH in regular spelling, tradspel. And, and that's a short I. How about Brook? Now, Brook is what I'm calling a short O, and here's Joe has a long O. So these have been going short A, short E, long E, short I, long I. Brook is has a what I call a short O, and Joe has the long O. You can see that Joe has the E at the end next to the O, and that's perfectly fine. So Brook has B, R, B, Rook, and a K, and the sound. That is actually called the short double O sound. And this is the long O sound. So we have one more new sound. We're up to 21 sounds. And you know what we can do? We can hear these if I play it through the player and we hear the Excel man say these names.
Chad, Chad, Jan, Fred, Fred, Steve, Steve, Trish, Meek.
Wait a minute, he's saying the wrong ones. We gotta say these. He will say these correctly.
Chad, Jane, Fred, Steve, Trish, Mike, Brooke, Joe.
Okay. Now we have Bud showing the short U, the sound, and the long letter U is indicated by the word Lou. And you can see the E is next to the U. That indicates the same thing as Joe did, that is the long U sound. So we have one more sound. It's just the L for a consonant. And the oo sound. Here we have some interesting sounds coming up. We have Claude. Aw. The aw sound is spelled with an AU in Truespel. There's the tilde indicating that it's AU, and the K sound is always spelled by the letter K. And actually in real life in tradspel, it is mostly spelled by the letter C. But C also spells the S sound, so it's very confusing. So we will go with the K for the K sound, Claude. And it's got a silent E that we don't say. So we got the K, the L, the D for the consonants, and aw for the vowel. And we have Jaja. Now that's the ah sound that I want to look at. Ah, and I've used the word Jaja to spell ZH to spell the J sound, which is the rarest sound in English. There's the J, j, ah. And that's how you spell these sounds in the phonograms of Truespel phonetics. Let's hear them spoken.
Claude, Jaja,
Claude, Jaja. And let's get on with Roger. Now, Roger has the ah sound and the er sound. We're getting to these three here are R influence words. And when you see that's spoken as And even though we have the R sound, it's at the ER as well. We got R begins with R, Roger, And Doreen. Doreen has an interesting way of saying her name. We don't say Doreen, we say Doreen. Stress is on the second syllable, the second vowel. Doreen, not Doreen. And so that has a D, an R-E-N. And now we're looking at the OR vowel to be sure we get that one in. D-R-N, Doreen. And we're up to 29. Mary. Now, you hear the airy sound here, air. That is a little bit different, and we spell air A-I-R, which is the way it is spelled in Tradspel, and then the double E, so we got the A-I-R in. So we got the E-R in, the O-R, and the A-I-R. Let's see how that is spoken by the Excel man.
Roger, Doreen, Mary.
Thank you, Excel speaker man, from the Excel program that we're looking at right here. Okay, and the last two are very interesting. We have Joyce, and that has like two vowel sounds stuck together, but they're too close to call them. They're too. It's a meld of vowels. That is called a diphthong. So, and this also Bowser and Joyce. So we got those two diphthongs in. Ow is always spelled O-U as in out and about. And Joyce is O-I as in voice and oil and join. And so we've got the two consonants, JS, which we're familiar with, and OI. And we have these two consonants, which we have a Z. I think Z is a new one. And OI and Bowser. You see what happened here? This was spelled as an S, but it changed to a Z in pronunciation. And that happens an awful lot in American English. It's amazing how often that happens. And okay, these are the 17. We've actually covered all the 17 vowels. And let's go down and get the rest of the consonants. Theo, very interesting word. In many ways, the TH, and this is Heather and Theo. Now, do you hear the difference of these THs? Theo is breathy and takes no sound with it. Th. And Heather has a vibration of a sound with it. So this is called voiced and unvoiced. And now, spelling Theo is a problem. In Truespel, we've got all these vowel letters together. So we separate that with a comma to not be confused. Theo. And Heather has just a TH, but Theo has the THH to say that's unvoiced. And there we have all the vowel letters. and the consonant letters. We have H, which is a new consonant letter, Heather. And that brings us up to 36. Now, let's hear them spoken by the Excel man.
Thea, Heather,
We're getting down to Diego, and we needed to get a G in there. Diego, Diego, D-A-G-O, D-A-Go. How many syllables does that have? D-A-Go. It's got the D and the G, and it's got E-A-Go, E-A-O. So there's 5. That's a big one. And we got Pam to get the P. Pam is a very simple one. We got her in. Pam. Is that a letter M? Let's get rid of that thing. Pam. Okay, there's another one. Wendy. W. 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 N. D. W. N. D. Wendy. There's 2 vowels, so it's 2 syllables and 3 consonants. V, N, D. And Yasa, I have a friend named Yasa to get the Y in. And that is the last one that we need to get in. Now this is interestingly spelled in Truespel because of the sound. Yasa, the sound is a double A. The Y sound is a consonant Y. But the sound comes at the end of the word is almost always spelled by the letter A, but it takes the sound. And so in Truespel we are consistent and we have to spell it with an and that's going to look funny in tradspel because they'll usually say that's a oo sound, not an sound. But unfortunately, that letter U is bounced around so much. The sound is bounced around so much. So we got the Y consonant, the and the And that adds up to, we got all the sounds were 80 of them. We have 34 syllables. That means we have 34 vowels. And we all ended up with 40 sounds as we counted each separate new one as they came along. There were 34 vowels and 46 consonants. So that's a usual breakdown. There are usually more consonants in words than there are vowels in words. And so we are learning Truespel phonetics. We try in Truespel to make our phonograms the same as tradspel uses, the most common tradspel phonograms, but it doesn't always work out. And if you see it in tradspel, you've got a way to say it in Truespel. So very good. I hope you appreciate this lesson, and there'll be more lessons coming up on Truespel phonetics. You know, I was just thinking we ought to hear all the names, the pronunciation of the names again. Let's hear the Excel program man say these
Chad,
names.
Jane, Fred, Steve, Trish, Mike, Brooke, Joe, Bud, Lou, Claude, Jaja, Roger, Doreen, Mary, Joyce, Bowser, Theo, Heather, Diego, Pam, Wendy, Yasa.
I have one little quibble with this pronunciation, and that is Diego. And I believe the proper way to say that word is Diego. Diego. Now, I should have pointed out that the stress is on the A, the second vowel. Diego. And to indicate that, I use a quote sign. And the quote, the default stress is usually on the first syllable, but if it changes over and it begins with a vowel, then I have to use a double double apostrophe, which is the A sound. And there you go. Those are all the rules. Now the other indicator of a stressed syllable other than the first is doreen with a double R. A double R, a double consonant, indicates a word with stress other than the first syllable. So if you hear a stress on other than the first syllable, you have to double the consonant before that, or if it's going to come before a vowel, you have between two vowels, then you have to use the double quote sign. And there you have it.